Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and seekers of wisdom, I stand before you today to delve into the depths of a subject that has long simmered just beneath the surface of our collective consciousness. It is a topic both shadowed by silence and illuminated by the subtle light of insight. I speak of trauma, a force as ancient as humanity itself, a specter that weaves its tendrils through the tapestry of the psyche. Trauma, in its essence, is not merely an occurrence or an event. It is a transformative process, a crucible of the soul. This crucible, though feared and oftentimes shunned, holds within it the potential for profound metamorphosis. Yet, for decades, the fullest extent of its implications, particularly those I have pondered, remained veiled. Why were these ideas silenced? What was it about the darker aspects of trauma that compelled the collective to avert its gaze to explore these questions? We must journey into the depths of the psyche, navigating through the shadowy corridors where the conscious mind hesitates to tread. The psyche, as we understand it, is a vast and complex landscape, much like the universe itself. It is populated by myriad forces, some known and familiar, others as enigmatic as distant stars. Among these forces, archetypes emerge as foundational elements, timeless patterns that echo through the annals of human experience. They are the primordial images, the inherited potentials residing within the collective unconscious. Trauma then can be seen as a force that disrupts the equilibrium of these archetypal energies, casting the individual into a state of disarray and disorientation. In the face of trauma, the ego, the center of consciousness, experiences a rupture. This rupture is not merely a psychological wound, it is an invitation to descend into the depths of the unconscious. It is in these depths that the shadow resides, the dark counterpart to the conscious persona. The shadow contains all that we have repressed, denied, or disowned. And it is within the shadow that the transformative power of trauma finds its roots. Consider, if you will, the myth of the hero's journey, an archetypal narrative that echoes across cultures and epochs. The hero, in the throes of his adventure, must inevitably confront the shadow. This confrontation is fraught with peril and uncertainty, for within the shadow lies the potential for both destruction and redemption. Trauma, in its darkest form, is akin to this confrontation. It is a call to arms, a summons to engage with the shadow and to emerge from the encounter transformed. However, the path through trauma is not a solitary endeavor. It is a journey that demands witness, empathy, and understanding. The silencing of trauma's darker ideas then can be seen as a collective defense mechanism, an attempt to shield ourselves from the uncomfortable truths that lie within. But in doing so, we deprive ourselves of the alchemical process of transformation that trauma offers. In seeking to understand the relationship between trauma and the archetypes, we must also consider the role of the anima and animus, the contrasexual elements of the psyche. These archetypes represent the inner feminine within the male psyche and the inner masculine within the female psyche. Trauma, particularly when it emerges from relational wounds, can catalyze a profound activation of these archetypes, compelling the individual to integrate these shadow aspects of the self. Let us take, for example, the case of a man who, through the crucible of trauma, is confronted with the anima. This encounter may manifest as a sudden awakening to emotions and sensitivities that had been previously repressed. It is a confrontation with the inner feminine. A dance with the archetype that can lead to a more holistic integration of the self. The anima, in this context, becomes both guide and challenger, leading the individual deeper into the mysteries of the soul. Similarly, a woman who encounters the animus through trauma may find herself grappling with aspects of strength, assertiveness, and rationality that had been disavowed. The animus, as an archetype, holds the potential to catalyze a reconfiguration of the inner landscape, urging the individual toward a synthesis of opposites. This synthesis, though fraught with difficulty, ultimately serves to enrich the tapestry of the self. But why, you may ask, did these ideas remain in the shadows for so long? The answer lies, I believe, in the nature of the collective unconscious itself, the collective psyche. Much like the individual psyche possesses its own defenses and resistances. It is inclined to favor the light, the known, the harmonious, and to shy away from the chaotic and the unknown. The darker aspects of trauma, with their potential to disrupt and destabilize, challenge the very foundations of the collective order. Furthermore, the societal structures and paradigms that dominated much of the 20th century were not conducive to the exploration of these darker themes. The emphasis was placed on progress, rationality, and control qualities that stood in stark contrast to the chaotic and unpredictable nature of trauma. In such an environment, the darker ideas about trauma were relegated to the periphery, whispered about in hushed tones but rarely acknowledged in the open. Yet, as we stand at the threshold of a new era, there is a growing recognition of the need to embrace the shadow, to engage with the darker aspects of the psyche. The silencing of trauma's darker ideas, while understandable, is no longer tenable. We are called, both individually and collectively, to confront these shadows, to integrate them into our understanding of the human experience. As we navigate this journey, we must remain vigilant to the symbols and dreams that arise from the unconscious. Dreams, those nightly emissaries from the depths, hold within them the keys to understanding the intricate dance of trauma and transformation. They offer us glimpses into the archetypal drama unfolding within, providing insights that transcend the limitations of the conscious mind. Consider a dream in which one finds oneself in a labyrinth, pursued by an unknown but terrifying presence. The labyrinth, an ancient symbol of the journey inward, reflects the convoluted pathways of the psyche. The presence that pursues is none other than the shadow, demanding acknowledgement and integration. In the waking world, this dream may mirror the experience of trauma, where one feels ensnared in a web of confusion and fear. Yet, it is through facing the shadow, through confronting the presence, that one may find the way to the center of the labyrinth, the self. The exploration of trauma's darker ideas then is not merely an intellectual exercise. It is a call to engage with the soul's deepest mysteries. It is an invitation to embrace the fullness of the human experience, to acknowledge the light and the shadow as integral parts of a greater whole. In doing so, we honor the complexity of the psyche, recognizing that within the crucible of trauma lies the potential for profound healing and transformation. As we continue this exploration, let us remain open to the wisdom of the unconscious, to the symbols and archetypes that guide us on our journey. Let us engage with the shadow, not as an adversary, but as a teacher and ally in our quest for wholeness. In embracing the darkness, we may find the light that illuminates the path forward. A path that leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. The journey through the labyrinthine corridors of the psyche, particularly when traversing the landscape of trauma, is akin to embarking on a pilgrimage into the heart of the unknown. In this sacred endeavor, we are called to confront not only the shadow, but also to engage with the myriad archetypes that populate the collective unconscious. These archetypes, timeless and universal, act as both guides and guardians on our path, each one offering its own unique insights and challenges. One such archetype that emerges prominently in the context of trauma is that of the wounded healer. This figure, deeply embedded in the mythologies and spiritual traditions of humanity, embodies the paradoxical nature of suffering and healing. The wounded healer is one who has been touched by the fires of trauma, yet emerges with the capacity to heal and guide others. This archetype serves as a powerful reminder that within our wounds lie the seeds of transformation and renewal. The wounded healer's journey is one of integration, where the individual learns to embrace their own suffering as a source of wisdom and compassion. In doing so, they become a beacon of hope for others, illuminating the path through the darkness. This process of integration is not without its challenges, for it requires a willingness to confront the pain and vulnerability that trauma evokes. Yet, through this confrontation, the individual may discover a newfound resilience and strength, a testament to the alchemical process of turning lead into gold. Within the depths of the unconscious also lies the archetype of the Great Mother, a symbol of nurturing and creation. In the aftermath of trauma, the presence of the Great Mother can offer solace and comfort, providing a sense of safety and belonging. She represents the primal forces of life and death, the cyclical nature of existence. Engaging with this archetype can facilitate a reconnection with the deeper rhythms of the psyche, allowing for the healing of wounds that may seem insurmountable. However, the Great Mother also has a shadow aspect, that of the terrible mother, who embodies the destructive and devouring forces of nature. This aspect can manifest in the psyche as feelings of engulfment or annihilation, fears that are often activated by trauma. The challenge lies in recognizing and integrating both aspects of the Great Mother, understanding that creation and destruction are two sides of the same coin. In embracing this duality, we may find a path to wholeness and reconciliation. As we continue to navigate the intricate dance of trauma and archetypes, we must also consider the role of the trickster. This archetype, with its penchant for disruption and chaos, often appears at moments of crisis and transformation. The trickster serves to challenge the status quo, to upend the established order and to catalyze change. In the context of trauma, the trickster may manifest as unexpected opportunities for growth or as chaotic forces that dismantle outdated beliefs and structures. The trickster's presence, while unsettling, is a necessary component of the transformative process. But by embracing the chaos and uncertainty that the trickster brings, we open ourselves to new possibilities and insights. This requires a willingness to let go of control and to surrender to the flow of the unconscious, trusting that within the disorder lies the potential for reorganization and renewal. In this exploration of trauma and its archetypal dimensions, dreams serve as invaluable guides. They offer a window into the unconscious, revealing the intricate interplay of symbols and motifs that shape our inner world. Dreams can act as mirrors, reflecting the unresolved conflicts and desires that lie beneath the surface of consciousness. Through the practice of active imagination and dream analysis, we can engage with these symbols, allowing them to guide us on our journey of healing and self-discovery. Consider a dream in which one encounters a wise old man or woman, an archetype known as a sage. This figure represents the culmination of wisdom and knowledge, a source of guidance and insight. In the context of trauma, the sage may appear as a mentor or guide, offering counsel and support as one navigates the complexities of the psychic landscape. The presence of the sage in a dream can signify a deepening of understanding, a movement toward greater awareness and integration. Yet, the path of integration and healing is not linear. It is a spiraling journey that requires patience and perseverance. The process of engaging with the shadow and the archetypes demands a commitment to self-reflection and inner work. It is a journey that calls for courage, for it involves confronting the fears and wounds that we have long sought to avoid. But it is through this courageous engagement that we may find the keys to unlocking the potential for transformation that lies within. The silencing of the darker ideas about trauma then can be seen as a reflection of our collective resistance to confronting these deeper truths. It is a resistance born of fear and misunderstanding, a reluctance to engage with the shadowy aspects of the psyche. But as we stand on the precipice of a new understanding, we are called to embrace the fullness of the human experience. We are called to recognize that within the darkness lies the potential for light, that within the chaos lies the possibility for order. In this endeavor, we are not alone. The collective unconscious, with its rich tapestry of archetypes and symbols, offers us guidance and support. It is a reminder that we are part of a greater whole, that our individual journeys are woven into the larger fabric of humanity. By engaging with the archetypes, by embracing the shadow and the light, we may find a path to healing and wholeness that transcends the limitations of the ego. As we conclude this exploration, let us carry with us the knowledge that trauma while challenging and painful, holds within it the seeds of transformation. Let us honor the journeys of the wounded healers, the wisdom of the sages, the nurturing presence of the Great Mother, and the disruptive energy of the trickster. In doing so, we may find the courage to confront our own shadows, to embrace the fullness of our being, and to emerge from the crucible of trauma, transformed and renewed. As we delve deeper into the labyrinth of trauma and its intricate relationship with the archetypes, we must turn our attention to the nature of the unconscious and its profound impact on the psyche's evolution. The unconscious, vast and unfathomable, is the wellspring from which dreams, symbols, and archetypal themes emerge. It is the realm where the past and future coexist, where the personal and collective intersect in a dance of infinite complexity. The unconscious is not a passive repository of forgotten memories and repressed desires. Rather, it is a dynamic force, continually influencing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Trauma, when it disrupts the equilibrium of the psyche, acts as a catalyst that brings the contents of the unconscious to the forefront of awareness. This emergence can be disorienting, for it challenges the ego's perception of reality and compels us to question the very foundations of our identity. In this journey through the unconscious, the concept of the self becomes paramount. The self, as I have come to understand it, is the central archetype, the totality of the psyche that encompasses both the conscious and unconscious aspects of the individual. It is the guiding force that seeks to bring about a state of wholeness and integration, drawing us towards the realization of our fullest potential. Trauma, in its paradoxical nature, can serve as a crucible for the emergence of the self. The fragmentation and disorientation that often accompany traumatic experiences create the conditions for a profound reordering of the psyche. In the midst of this upheaval, the self calls upon the individual to embark on a journey of individuation, a process of becoming who we truly are. Distinct from the collective norms and expectations that have shaped us, individuation is not a solitary endeavor. It is a dialogue between the conscious and unconscious, a negotiation between the ego and the self. The archetypes, with their symbolic language, act as intermediaries in this dialogue, offering insights and guidance as we navigate the complexities of our inner world through dreams, active imagination, and creative expression. We can engage with these archetypal energies, allowing them to inform and transform our understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. Consider, for instance, the archetype of the hero, a figure that embodies the quest for self-discovery and transformation. In myths and legends, the hero embarks on a journey fraught with trials and tribulations, ultimately emerging victorious and transformed. This archetype mirrors the journey of individuation, where the individual must confront their fears, integrate the shadow, and discover the treasures that lie within the depths of the unconscious in the context of trauma. So the hero's journey is a metaphor for the healing process. The trials and challenges faced by the hero reflect the inner struggles and conflicts that arise as we confront the wounds of the past. The descent into the underworld, a common motif in heroic myths, symbolizes the journey into the unconscious, where the treasures of insight and healing await. By embracing the hero archetype, we are reminded that the path of healing is not one of avoidance or denial, but of courage and engagement. Yet, the hero's journey is but one facet of the individuation process. The integration of the psyche requires a balance of opposites, a reconciliation of the masculine and feminine, the conscious and unconscious, the light and shadow. The archetypes of the anima and animus, as previously mentioned, play a crucial role in this balancing act. By engaging with these contrasexual elements, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of the complexities of our inner landscape. The interplay of these archetypes within the psyche often finds expression in dreams, those nightly journeys into the realm of the unconscious. Dreams, with their rich symbolism and enigmatic narratives, offer us glimpses into the unfolding drama of the psyche. They reveal the tensions and conflicts that lie beneath the surface, as well as the potential resolutions that await discovery. A dream of a journey through a dark forest, for example, may symbolize the exploration of the unconscious, a venture into the unknown, where hidden aspects of the self are encountered. The forest, with its shadows and mysteries, represents the fertile ground of the psyche, where both danger and opportunity coexist. By venturing into this forest, we engage with the archetypal energies that shape our inner world, allowing them to guide us toward greater understanding and integration. The process of engaging with dreams is not merely an intellectual exercise. It is an experiential practice that requires openness and receptivity. It invites us to suspend judgment and to approach the symbols and narratives of the dream with curiosity and wonder. Through this engagement, we may uncover the threads of meaning that connect the disparate elements of our experience, weaving them into a coherent narrative that reflects the deeper truths of the soul. As we continue this exploration of trauma and the unconscious, we must also acknowledge the importance of community and connection. The journey of individuation is a deeply personal one, yet it is also a shared endeavor. We are not isolated beings. We are interconnected threads in the vast tapestry of humanity. The wounds we carry are not solely our own. They are echoes of the collective suffering and struggles that have shaped our history. In recognizing this interconnectedness, we are called to engage with others in a spirit of empathy and compassion. By sharing our stories, we create a space for healing and transformation, allowing the light of understanding to illuminate the shadows of isolation and despair. In this communal space, we find the support and encouragement needed to continue our journey, to face the challenges and embrace the opportunities that trauma presents. The silencing of trauma's darker ideas, as we have explored, is a reflection of our collective reluctance to engage with the shadow. Yet, as we move toward a more integrated understanding of the human experience, we are called to break this silence, to give voice to the truths that have long been hidden. By doing so, we honor the complexity and richness of the psyche, recognizing that within the darkness lies the potential for profound healing and transformation. As we conclude this portion of our exploration, let us carry with us the insights and wisdom that the archetypes have to offer. Let us honor the journey of individuation, recognizing it as a sacred path that leads us towards the realization of our fullest potential. In embracing the shadow and the light, the conscious and unconscious, we may find a way forward that transcends the dualities that have long divided us. In this unity, we discover the essence of the self, the guiding force that seeks to bring us into harmony with the deeper rhythms of life. As we venture further into the exploration of trauma and its profound relationship with the psyche, we must turn our gaze to the concept of the shadow. The shadow, as I have often articulated, is the hidden aspect of the personality that the conscious ego does not identify as its own. It encompasses all those elements of the self that are repressed, denied, or ignored traits and impulses that the conscious mind finds unacceptable or threatening. The shadow is not inherently malevolent. It is a natural part of the human psyche, a repository of both creative and destructive potential. In the context of trauma, the shadow often emerges with increased intensity. As the psychic defenses that once kept it at bay are weakened or dismantled, this emergence can provoke fear and resistance, as it challenges the carefully constructed identity that the ego has cultivated. However, within this confrontation lies an opportunity for profound transformation. The shadow, when acknowledged and integrated, becomes a source of strength and creativity. It is a reservoir of untapped potential, offering insights and energies that can propel us toward greater wholeness. The process of integrating the shadow requires courage and honesty, for it involves facing aspects of ourselves that we may find uncomfortable or unsettling. In the journey of shadow integration, the role of projection becomes particularly salient. Projection is a psychological phenomenon in which we attribute our own unacknowledged feelings, desire, and qualities to others. It is a defense mechanism that serves to keep the shadow hidden from conscious awareness. In the aftermath of trauma, projections can become intensified, leading to distorted perceptions of reality and interpersonal conflicts. Recognizing and withdrawing projections is a crucial step in the integration process. It requires a willingness to turn inward, to examine the origins of our judgments and emotions. By owning our projections, we claim the disowned aspects of ourselves, allowing them to be consciously integrated into our identity. This process fosters a sense of authenticity and self-acceptance. As we come to embrace the full spectrum of our humanity, the integration of the shadow also necessitates a dialogue with the inner child, an archetype that represents the purest and most vulnerable aspects of the self. The inner child embodies the innocence, wonder, and creativity that are often suppressed in the face of trauma. Engaging with this archetype can facilitate healing, as it invites us to reconnect with the parts of ourselves that yearn for expression and validation. In this dialogue, we may encounter the wounded inner child, a symbol of the pain and unmet needs that have been carried from the past. By acknowledging and nurturing this aspect of the self, we create a space for healing and reconciliation. We offer the inner child the love and understanding that was perhaps absent in earlier experiences, allowing for the restoration of a sense of safety and belonging. The journey of shadow integration is intricately connected to the broader process of individuation. As we confront and integrate the shadow, we move closer to the realization of the self. The archetype of wholeness that encompasses the totality of the psyche. The self is both the center and circumference of the psychic universe, a guiding force that seeks to harmonize the disparate elements of the personality. In the context of trauma, the emergence of the self can be a beacon of hope and guidance. It calls us to transcend the limitations of the ego, to embrace the fullness of our being with all its complexities and contradictions. The journey towards the self is a sacred pilgrimage, a quest for meaning and purpose that transcends the superficial concerns of the ego as we engage with the archetypal energies of the shadow, the inner child, and the self. We are reminded of the transformative power of symbols and rituals. Symbols serve as bridges between the conscious and unconscious, offering a language through which we can articulate the inexpressible truths of the soul. Rituals, whether personal or collective, provide a container for the energies of transformation, marking the thresholds of change and renewal. In the aftermath of trauma, the creation of personal rituals can facilitate healing and integration. These rituals need not be elaborate. They can be simple acts of intention and mindfulness that honor the journey of the soul. Through ritual, we create a sacred space for reflection and connection, a space in which the archetypal energies can be consciously engaged and integrated. The process of healing and transformation is not a linear path. It is a spiraling journey that requires patience, perseverance, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. It calls us to engage with the deeper mysteries of the psyche, to honor the wisdom of the unconscious as it guides us toward greater wholeness. In this journey, we are not alone. We are supported by the collective wisdom of those who have walked before us and those who walk alongside us. The silencing of traumas, darker ideas, as we have explored, is a reflection of our collective resistance to engaging with these deeper truths. Yet, as we move toward a more integrated understanding of the human experience, we are called to break this silence, to give voice to the truths that have long been hidden. By doing so, we honor the complexity and richness of the psyche, recognizing that within the darkness lies the potential for profound healing and transformation. In this endeavor, let us remain open to the wisdom of the unconscious, to the symbols and archetypes that guide us on our journey. Let us engage with the shadow, not as an adversary, but as a teacher and ally in our quest for wholeness. In embracing the darkness, we may find the light that illuminates the path forward, a path that leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. As we conclude this exploration, let us carry with us the knowledge that trauma, while challenging and painful, holds within it the seeds of transformation. Let us honor the journeys of the wounded healers, the wisdom of the sages, the nurturing presence of the Great Mother. And the disruptive energy of the trickster. In doing so, we may find the courage to confront our own shadows, to embrace the fullness of our being, and to emerge from the crucible of trauma, transformed and renewed. As we continue our exploration of the intricate dance between trauma and the psyche, it becomes imperative to delve into the notion of the collective unconscious and its profound influence on our personal and shared experiences. The collective unconscious, as I have conceptualized it, is the storehouse of humanity's shared memories and experiences. It is a vast, timeless reservoir from which the archetypes emerge, those primordial images that echo across cultures and epochs, shaping the narratives of our lives. Within the collective unconscious lies the potential for both harmony and discord. It is a realm where the dreams and aspirations of humanity intermingle with its fears and shadows. Trauma, when viewed through the lens of the collective unconscious, can be seen as both a personal and communal experience. It is an individual wound that reverberates through the collective, echoing the broader themes of suffering and resilience that have defined the human condition. The collective nature of trauma is evident in the cultural and historical narratives that shape our understanding of the world. Wars, natural disasters, and social upheavals are not merely events. They are collective traumas that leave indelible marks on the psyche of societies. These traumas, much like personal ones, carry the potential for both destruction and transformation. They challenge the collective to confront its shadow, to acknowledge the darker aspects of its history and identity. In this collective confrontation, the archetypes play a pivotal role. They offer symbolic frameworks through which societies can make sense of their experiences, providing narratives that facilitate healing and integration. The hero, the wise old man, the great mother, these archetypes, and others emerge in collective myths and stories, offering guidance and insight as societies navigate the complexities of trauma. Consider the cultural myth of the phoenix, a symbol of rebirth and renewal that transcends cultural boundaries. The phoenix, in its cyclical journey of death and resurrection, mirrors the transformative potential inherent in trauma. It represents the capacity for societies to rise from the ashes of destruction, to forge new identities and narratives that encompass both the shadow and the light. This myth serves as a powerful reminder that within the collective unconscious lies the potential for regeneration and hope. Yet, the journey of collective transformation is not without its challenges. The resistance to acknowledging the shadow, both personal and collective, is a formidable barrier. It is a resistance born of fear and denial, a reluctance to confront the uncomfortable truths that lie beneath the surface. This resistance can manifest in various ways through scapegoating, projection, or the perpetuation of destructive patterns. The process of overcoming this resistance requires a collective commitment to truth and reconciliation. It calls for a willingness to engage with the shadow, to confront the historical and cultural wounds that have been passed down through generations. This engagement is not an easy task. It demands courage and humility, as well as a recognition of our interconnectedness. In this collective engagement, the role of storytelling becomes particularly significant. stories, whether told through literature, art, or oral traditions, serve as vehicles for the expression and integration of the collective unconscious. They offer a means of articulating the inexpressible, of giving voice to the silenced and marginalized. Through storytelling, societies can confront their shadows, explore alternative narratives, and envision new possibilities for the future. The power of storytelling is evident in the ways that marginalized voices are increasingly being heard and acknowledged. These voices, often silenced or ignored, offer unique perspectives on trauma and resilience. They challenge dominant narratives and invite us to expand our understanding of the human experience. By listening to these voices, we open ourselves to the richness and diversity of the collective unconscious, recognizing that each story adds a vital thread to the tapestry of humanity. As we engage with the collective aspect of trauma, we must also consider the role of rituals and ceremonies in facilitating healing and integration. Rituals, whether traditional or contemporary, provide structured spaces for the expression and transformation of collective energies. They mark significant transitions and thresholds, offering opportunities for communal reflection and renewal in the aftermath of collective trauma. Rituals can serve as powerful catalysts for healing. They create spaces for mourning and remembrance, for the acknowledgement of loss and the celebration of resilience. Through ritual, societies can honor the past while forging new paths forward, integrating the lessons of trauma into their collective narratives. The silencing of trauma's darker ideas within the collective unconscious reflects a broader cultural tendency to shy away from discomfort and uncertainty. Yet, as we stand at the threshold of a new understanding, we are called to embrace the fullness of the human experience. We are called to recognize that within the darkness lies the potential for insight and growth, that within the collective shadow lies the possibility for transformation. As we conclude this exploration, let us carry with us the knowledge that trauma, whether personal or collective, holds within it the seeds of renewal. Let us honor the archetypes and symbols that guide us on our journey, recognizing their capacity to illuminate the path toward healing and wholeness. In embracing the collective shadow, we may find the courage to create a more just and compassionate world, one in which the light and the darkness coexist in harmony. In this endeavor, let us remain open to the wisdom of the collective unconscious, to the stories and rituals that connect us to the deeper rhythms of life. Let us engage with the shadow not as an adversary, but as a partner in our quest for understanding. In doing so, we may find the light that illuminates the path forward, a path that leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world we share. As we continue this profound exploration into the interplay between trauma and the psyche, we must now turn our attention to the role of healing and transformation, both of which are inherent in the human experience and deeply interwoven with the archetypal energies we have discussed. Healing, in the context of trauma, is not merely a return to a previous state of being. It is a journey toward a new understanding, a reconfiguration of the self that embraces the lessons and insights that trauma has imparted. The path of healing is often illuminated by the archetype of the healer, a figure that embodies the capacity for renewal and restoration. The healer is not solely an external figure, it is an internal presence, an aspect of the psyche that guides us toward wholeness. This archetype calls upon us to engage with the wounded parts of ourselves, to offer them the compassion and care that are essential for true healing. In the healing process, the integration of the shadow becomes a pivotal task. As we have explored, the shadow contains those aspects of the self that have been rejected or denied. By acknowledging and embracing the shadow, we reclaim the disowned parts of our identity, allowing for a more complete and authentic expression of the self. This integration is not a one-time event, but a continual process of engagement and reflection. The journey of healing also necessitates a reconnection with the body, the vessel through which trauma is often experienced and stored. The body, with its intricate network of sensations and memories, holds the imprint of trauma, even when it is not consciously recognized. Somatic practices such as mindfulness, yoga, and body-centered therapies offer pathways for releasing these imprints, facilitating a deeper connection between the mind and body. In this context, the archetype of the Earth Mother may emerge as a symbol of grounding and nurturing. The Earth Mother, with her connection to the natural world, invites us to root ourselves in the present moment, to draw upon the healing energies of the earth as we navigate the complexities of the psyche. Through this grounding, we find stability and support, enabling us to engage with the deeper processes of healing and transformation. The role of community, as we have touched upon, is also integral to the healing journey. Human beings are inherently social creatures, woven into a web of relationships that shape and define our experiences. In the aftermath of trauma, the presence of a supportive community can provide the safety and connection necessary for healing. It is within the context of these relationships that we find mirrors for our own experiences, reflections that validate and affirm our journey. In communal healing, the archetype of the circle may come to the forefront. The circle, as a symbol, represents unity and equality, a space where each voice is heard and valued. It is a reminder that healing is not a solitary endeavor, but a shared experience, one in which each participant contributes to the collective wisdom. Within the circle, we find the courage to share our stories, to bear witness to the experiences of others, and to co-create a narrative of resilience and hope as we engage with the healing process. The concept of forgiveness may also arise. Forgiveness, often misunderstood, is not an absolution of wrongdoing, but a release of the hold that past hurts have on our present and future. It is an act of liberation, both for ourselves and for those who have caused us harm. In the context of trauma, forgiveness can facilitate the release of anger and resentment, opening the door to healing and reconciliation. The journey of forgiveness is not linear. It is a spiraling path that requires time and reflection. It involves a deep engagement with the heart, a willingness to confront the pain and to move beyond it. The archetype of the wise old woman or man may serve as a guide in this process, offering the wisdom and perspective needed to navigate the complexities of forgiveness as we conclude this exploration of healing and transformation. Let us hold in our hearts the knowledge that trauma, while challenging, is not the end of the story. It is a chapter in the greater narrative of our lives, one that holds within it the potential for profound growth and renewal. By engaging with the archetypal energies of the healer, the Earth Mother, the Circle, and the wise elder, we find the guidance and support needed to navigate this journey. In embracing the fullness of our experience, the light and the shadow, we discover the alchemical process of transformation that lies at the heart of healing. It is a process that transcends the limitations of the ego, inviting us to step into a larger, more expansive understanding of ourselves and the world. In this journey, we find the courage to forge new paths, to create new narratives that honor our experiences and illuminate the way forward as we carry this wisdom with us. Let us remain open to the unfolding journey, trusting in the guidance of the archetypes and the wisdom of the unconscious. Let us continue to engage with the shadow, to embrace the light, and to honor the transformative power of trauma. In doing so, we may find the path to wholeness and healing, a path that leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world we inhabit. As we delve further into the intricate relationship between trauma and the psyche, let us consider the role of creativity as a profound force for healing and transformation. Creativity is an expression of the soul, a conduit through which the unconscious communicates with the conscious mind. It is through creative expression that we are able to articulate the inexpressible, to give form to the formless, and to explore the depths of our inner world. In the aftermath of trauma, the creative process can serve as a powerful catalyst for healing. It offers a means of transforming pain into beauty, chaos into order, and despair into hope. The act of creation, whether through art, music, writing, or other forms of expression, allows us to engage with the archetypal energies that reside within the unconscious. It is a dialogue between the inner and outer worlds, a dance of shadow and light that mirrors the process of individuation. The archetype of the creator, in this context, emerges as a guiding force. The creator embodies the impulse to bring forth new ideas, to shape and mold the raw materials of experience into something meaningful. This archetype challenges us to move beyond the limitations of the ego, to tap into the wellspring of imagination and intuition that lies within. Through the creator, we are called to embrace the unknown, to trust in the unfolding process of creation as a path to healing and renewal. Consider, for example, the therapeutic power of storytelling. Stories are vessels for the transmission of wisdom and experience, linking the individual to the collective and the personal to the universal. In the telling and retelling of our stories, we find the means to process and integrate the experiences of trauma. We weave the threads of our lives into a coherent narrative, one that honors the complexities and contradictions of our journey. In this narrative process, the archetype of the magician may appear, symbolizing transformation and alchemy. The magician is the agent of change, the one who transmutes base materials into gold. In the context of trauma, the magician invites us to transform our wounds into sources of wisdom and strength through the alchemical process of creativity. We discover the potential for renewal and growth that lies within the depths of our suffering. The interplay between creativity and healing is also reflected in the symbolic language of dreams. Dreams, as we have explored, are the nightly emissaries of the unconscious, offering insights and guidance through their rich tapestry of symbols and images. Engaging with our dreams through creative expression can facilitate a deeper understanding of the messages they convey. By translating the language of dreams into art, poetry, or movement, we bring the unconscious into dialogue with the conscious mind, fostering integration and healing. As we embrace the creative process, we are reminded of the importance of play and spontaneity. Play, often relegated to the realm of childhood, is a fundamental aspect of the creative spirit. It is through play that we explore new possibilities, experiment with different perspectives, and cultivate a sense of wonder and curiosity. In the context of healing, play can serve as a powerful antidote to the rigidity and stagnation that trauma may impose. The archetype of the child, with its boundless energy and imagination, embodies the spirit of play. Engaging with this archetype invites us to reconnect with the joy and spontaneity that are essential to the creative process. It encourages us to approach the world with fresh eyes, to see beyond the constraints of the familiar, and to embrace the magic of the moment. The journey of creativity and healing is not without its challenges. It requires a willingness to confront the fears and doubts that may arise, to navigate the ebb and flow of inspiration and resistance. Yet, it is through this journey that we discover the transformative power of the creative spirit. A power that transcends the wounds of the past and opens the door to new possibilities. As we continue this exploration, let us hold in our hearts the knowledge that creativity is a sacred gift, a bridge between the conscious and unconscious, the personal and collective. It is a path to healing that invites us to express the fullness of our being, to honor the beauty and complexity of the human experience. In this endeavor, let us remain open to the whispers of the unconscious, to the symbols and archetypes that guide us on our creative journey. Let us trust in the process of creation, allowing it to lead us toward healing and transformation. In doing so, we may find the courage to embrace the unknown, to step into the realm of infinite possibilities that lies beyond the boundaries of the familiar. As we conclude this reflection on creativity and its role in healing, let us carry with us the insights and inspiration that the Creator, the magician, and the child have to offer. Let us honor the creative spirit within, recognizing its capacity to illuminate the path to wholeness and renewal. In embracing the creative journey, we discover the alchemical process of transformation that lies at the heart of healing, a process that invites us to transcend the limitations of trauma and to embrace the fullness of life. As we navigate the intricate landscape of trauma and healing, let us now turn our attention to the concept of time and its profound influence on the psyche's journey. Time, as we perceive it, is not merely a linear progression of moments. It is a multifaceted dimension that encompasses both the past and future, the conscious and unconscious. In the realm of the psyche, time is fluid, allowing for the interplay of memory and imagination, history and potential. The experience of trauma often disrupts our perception of time, creating a sense of disorientation and fragmentation. It is as if the psyche becomes untethered from the chronological flow, caught in a loop where past and present intermingle. This temporal distortion can manifest as flashbacks, intrusive memories, or a pervasive sense of being trapped in the past. Yet, within this disruption lies the possibility for reimagining our relationship with time, for healing and transformation. The archetype of the eternal child, or pur eternus, offers a lens through which we can explore the timeless nature of the psyche. The eternal child embodies the qualities of innocence, wonder, and boundless potential, transcending the limitations of linear time. This archetype reminds us that within the depths of the unconscious lies an eternal source of renewal, a wellspring of creativity and vitality that is untouched by the passage of time. In the context of healing, engaging with the eternal child invites us to reconnect with the timeless aspects of our being. It encourages us to embrace the present moment, to cultivate a sense of presence and mindfulness that transcends the constraints of past and future. Through this engagement, we find the courage to release the hold that trauma has on our perception of time, allowing for a reorientation toward the possibilities of the present. The concept of cyclical time, as reflected in nature's rhythms, also offers insights into the healing journey. The cycles of the seasons, the phases of the moon, and the ebb and flow of tides all mirror the cyclical nature of the psyche's processes. Trauma, when viewed through this lens, becomes a part of a larger cycle of death and rebirth, dissolution and renewal. It is an invitation to embrace the natural rhythms of life, to trust in the process of transformation as it unfolds. The archetype of the wise elder, with its connection to the cycles of time, serves as a guide in this exploration. The wise elder embodies the accumulated wisdom of experience, offering insights into the deeper truths that transcend the limitations of the temporal world. Engaging with this archetype invites us to draw upon the wisdom of the past, to integrate the lessons and insights that trauma has imparted in this journey of healing. The practice of mindfulness and meditation can serve as powerful tools for reorienting our relationship with time. These practices invite us to cultivate a sense of presence, to engage with the present moment with openness and curiosity. Through mindfulness, we learn to observe the flow of thoughts and emotions without attachment, allowing for a greater sense of clarity and awareness. The role of forgiveness, as we have previously touched upon, is also intricately linked to our perception of time. Forgiveness is an act of liberation that transcends the boundaries of past and future, offering a release from the cycle of suffering. It is a process of letting go, of freeing ourselves from the burdens of resentment and regret. In the context of trauma, Forgiveness can facilitate a reorientation toward the present, opening the door to healing and renewal. As we engage with the concept of time in the healing process, it is important to honor the individual rhythms of each person's journey. Healing is not a linear path. It is a spiraling journey that unfolds in its own time, guided by the wisdom of the unconscious. By honoring these rhythms, we create a space for the natural unfolding of healing, allowing for the integration of the shadow and the emergence of the self, the silencing of trauma's darker ideas, as we have explored, is often rooted in a fear of confronting the disruptions and distortions that trauma imposes on our perception of time. Yet, as we move toward a more integrated understanding of the human experience, we are called to embrace the complexity and richness of time as a dimension of the psyche. By doing so, we honor the fullness of our existence, recognizing that within the temporal disruptions of trauma lies the potential for profound healing and transformation. As we conclude this reflection on time and its role in the healing journey, let us carry with us the insights and wisdom that the eternal child and the wise elder have to offer. Let us embrace the timeless aspects of our being, recognizing their capacity to illuminate the path to wholeness and renewal. In doing so, we may find the courage to transcend the limitations of linear time, to step into the realm of infinite possibilities that lies beyond the boundaries of the familiar. In this endeavor, let us remain open to the whispers of the unconscious, to the cycles and rhythms that guide us on our journey. Let us trust in the process of healing, allowing it to lead us toward integration and transformation. In embracing the fullness of time, we discover the alchemical process of renewal that lies at the heart of healing. A process that invites us to transcend the wounds of the past and to embrace the potential of the present and future